Hello friends, welcome to CA Astrology. My name is Rajesh Babbar. So today, continuing the second part of profession, I'm going to tell you something about Rahu, Ketu, and if I get time, Venus also, because these three planets are very important when you take up profession of the native, when there is going to be change and whether there is going to be change in place also. We take moon also into consideration. So before I begin my video, I pray to Lord Ganesha and Lord Shanidev, help us learn this divine knowledge. So let's begin my video. One important information I would like to share with all my subscribers and all my viewers. In your natal birth chart, according to the placement of Jupiter and Saturn, let's say from Jupiter, if your Saturn is placed in the 7th house, that house is very important in your birth chart. That house indicates your responsibility. Why it is so? Because Saturn is a karmic planet, and wherever Saturn is placed according to the placement of Jupiter, from Jupiter, wherever Saturn is placed in any particular house and any particular sign, that house has the responsibility. That is the house where you have to take karmic action, because Saturn is a past karmic planet. So wherever Saturn is placed according to Jupiter, that house has to be taken care of. Lot of remedies has to be done. Lot of responsibilities have to be taken care of. Means that house is house of action in this present birth. So according to your horoscopes, according to the placement of Jupiter, check where your Saturn is placed. Make sure you don't make any mistake in that particular house. I'll give you a small example. Let's say someone has Saturn in the 4th house from Jupiter. Wherever your Jupiter is placed in the birth chart, Saturn is in the 4th house from Jupiter. That means education and your family and your land and property. There are a lot of other things also, your mother also. These four things, there is karmic relation because of Saturn placed in the 4th house to Jupiter. So you have to take care of all these karkata, all these things very carefully. So that is the responsibility. So now we will jump straight away to the profession part. Yesterday in my last video I told you, when transiting Saturn touches Rahu, or when transiting Saturn puts his third aspect on natal Rahu, or when transiting Saturn is in puts his 10th aspect on Rahu, there is change in profession. When moon is also involved in this combination, change of place is also there. Even Venus has to be very carefully taken into consideration, because Venus is the planet of monetary gains. Unless and until Venus comes into picture, person cannot change his job, because he has to get the monetary gain. So these three planets I told you yesterday. So today I'll reverse the combination. If in transit Rahu touches your natal Saturn, that is the time of change of job, or within the company he can be transferred or he can be elevated from one post to another post. Means you will get something new in life. Rahu comes in the third house from Saturn, from your birth chart, from your natal birth chart. Wherever Saturn is placed in transit, when Rahu comes in the third house from Saturn, I'll write it down because it's a important combination. Let's take Saturn here. Here also I'll take Saturn here. I'm not taking signs into consideration. So in transit, when Rahu comes there, I'll write T here, and I will write Rahu here also. And I'm and I'm like, and I'm extremely sorry I did not make not South Indian charts, because a lot of my subscribers have commented in the comment box, and even they have sent me personal messages to make South Indian charts also. From now onwards, in every video you will see the South Indian charts also. I'm very sorry about that. So let's continue. when transit Rahu comes in the third house from Saturn. This is the transit Rahu. That is the transit Rahu. That is the period when person changes his job, and the rest of the combinations are same. You have to look for Venus. If Venus also comes into picture, definitely that would be the month. And yesterday I told you the day of joining also how to calculate. You have to take the degrees into consideration. So this is the reverse combination when transit Rahu touches Saturn, or it comes in the third aspect of Saturn. Now we will take Ketu, very important planet in Bhrigu Nandinadi. So before I start with Ketu, few tattvas of the Ketu just to revive the things. Ketu is the planet of moksha, salvation. Ketu is called chain in Nadi, and Ketu is end of something. That end can be for good, that end can be for bad, that end can be permanently. He can stop things permanently. After that, person never works. Or what is the combination when he takes retirement? Also, I'll explain with the help of one example. This is all because of Ketu. So, we will start with Saturn first. So, the first rule, when when transiting Saturn touches Ketu, your natal Ketu, I'll write it down because it is very important. Let's say Ketu is placed here. This is your natal Ketu. I am taking natal Ketu into consideration. Let's say Ketu is placed here. This is your natal Ketu. So when transiting Saturn comes here, Saturn. When transiting Saturn comes over Ketu, this is the time when person can lose his job. There will be problems in his job, or there will be pressure from seniors, and mostly people lose their job in this scenario when transiting Saturn touches Ketu. This is the first rule. Second rule, when transiting Saturn puts his third aspect on natal Ketu. Let's say Saturn in transit, if comes here, or let's say Saturn in transit comes here. 1, 2, 3. This is number 8. I am not taking signs into consideration. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. This is the third aspect on Ketu. This is also a very bad time in your professional area. This combination, when Saturn puts his third aspect on Ketu, there can be end in your profession. Profession can stop suddenly, your job can stop suddenly, and it can make you jobless. This is the second combination. Third combination, this is the natal Ketu. If transiting Saturn comes in fourth from Ketu, 1, 2, 3, 4. So from here, he is going to put his 10th aspect. There is no need to change from here. If you count from here, uh, this I will write Ketu here because sorry, I wrote Ketu in Aquarius. So if Saturn it comes in transit, if Saturn comes here, it is going to cast his 10th aspect on Ketu. Same from here. If Saturn comes here in transit, fourth from Ketu, this is the period you have to take care of because this can give end to your profession. If you are in business, it can stop your business suddenly. So these are the three major combinations when Saturn touches Ketu, when Saturn puts his third aspect on Ketu, and when Saturn puts his 10th aspect on Ketu. Person loses his job, there will be problem in the job. Same for Ketu also, when in transit Ketu touches Saturn, there will be a lot of problems in your job. And when in transit Ketu comes in third aspect from Saturn, there will be problems. Same when Ketu comes in 10th aspect from Saturn, there will be a lot of problems. So in both ways you can take transit Saturn, transit Ketu, problems in profession, loss of job, end of something. There will be lot of problems when this combinations happens in your birth chart. Secondly, when transit Saturn and Ketu combine, mostly in the second round of Saturn, because Saturn takes 30 years to take one round. So in second round of Saturn, when there is a combination of Saturn Ketu, in Saturn Ketu combination, third aspect on Ketu or 10th aspect on Ketu, mostly when Saturn Ketu are conjunct, transit Saturn meets Ketu or transit Ketu meets Saturn, that is the period when person uh, that is the period when person plans to take retirement. In a lot of cases you will see, when this combination happens, person retires from his job, or if he is in government job, he will take retirement in this particular period only. So these are like few combinations for Rahu and Ketu that I have already told you. Now we will jump to Venus. Yes, Venus is a very important planet in Bhrigu Nandinadi because it signifies money, it signifies wife, but we will take money into consideration for now because we are talking about profession. So whenever there is a combination in your birth chart, so whenever transit Rahu touches natal Venus and at the same time transit Venus touches natal Rahu, it has to be combination like this. When transit Rahu touches Venus or comes in trine to Venus, and at the same time in the same month transit Venus touches Rahu or comes in trine to Rahu, that is also a good period to change your job, or a person can expect lot of money or monetary gains. That is a very good period for every person in their life. So these are like few combinations when when we talk about profession, then you have to take these combinations into consideration. Now moving ahead, I'll take some other combinations also which are very important for profession. That is the 10th house from Saturn. Lot of people you will see, they change their jobs very frequently. What are the combinations we have already seen? I'll be covering this topic more with the help of examples, but few examples verbally I'm going to tell you here. Wherever Saturn is placed in your birth chart, put your finger on Saturn, count the 10th house from there. Let me write it once again. I'll write Saturn here and I'll just wipe it off all this because this is very important, and here also I will wipe it off. So this is Saturn in 4 number sign. I'll write Saturn here also. I'll write sign here also so people don't get confused. From Saturn, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is the 10th house from Saturn. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is the 10th house from Saturn. So what are the combinations you have to analyze? There are a lot of combinations, but in short I will tell you 2 or 3 combinations which are very prominent. When you see these combinations, people will change their jobs frequently. They will not stick to one particular job. So what is the combination? 10th lord from Saturn, whoever is the lord, if that lord is conjunct with moon or Mercury, definitely people will change lot of jobs in their life. I'll give you one example just to explain. Here Saturn is placed in Cancer, so 10th from Cancer is Aries sign. This is Aries sign. The lord is Mars. Let's say we will place Mars anywhere in the birth chart. If Mars is with Moon, you can see here I have written Mars with Moon. Just I'll write here also. Just study the just need to study the combination. What is the combination? 10th lord from Saturn is Mars. If Mars is placed with Moon in the natal chart, that means that person will change his jobs very frequently. He will not stick to one job. Same if 10th lord from Saturn is placed with Mercury, then also person will change his jobs very frequently. Third, if 10th lord from Saturn is placed with Rahu, then also person will change his jobs very frequently. And fourth combination, if 10th lord from Saturn is placed in 12th house from Saturn, then also person will change his jobs very frequently. Fifth concept, if Rahu is placed in the 11th house from Saturn or Ketu is placed in the 11th house from Saturn, then also person changes his job very frequently. So these are like few combinations. You can analyze the profession of the native, why that person is changing jobs frequently. You can see from these combinations, and then you can guide the person with remedies accordingly. Now we will jump ahead. I'll explain you some more combinations related to profession because this is very important. In any birth chart, if you see Saturn has Ketu ahead, maybe in the third house, fourth house, and there are no planets in between. I'll explain you with the help of an example. Let's start from here because these are very important combinations and you will see this in a lot of charts. Let's say if Saturn is here, Ketu is here, Saturn is here, and I will rub this one also. Ketu is here. Then also you can analyze in the birth chart that this native will change his jobs very frequently. When Ketu is ahead of Saturn and there is no planet in between, that means that person will have a lot of problems in the profession. Same when Rahu is in the second house to Saturn. Let's say if Rahu is here or in this birth chart, Rahu is here. When Rahu is in the second house to Saturn, then also person changes his job very frequently. So these are like few combinations you need to note down when you analyze the profession of the native. Now we will jump ahead. More combinations. When Saturn has Moon in his trinal signs, or Moon in conjunction with Saturn, or Moon in the third house from Saturn, then also person changes his job very frequently. So these are like important planets you always have to take care, you always have to note when you analyze the birth chart. So in my next video I'll take up the I'll take up importance of third aspect of Saturn, and I'll also explain you what is the reason behind the fourth aspect of Mars and the eighth aspect of Mars. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.